What is up, comic fan? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and it's Sunday. That means this is At Weeks in the spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics and so much more. And I'm joined by some familiar faces as well as a new face to the show. So I'm excited to get him in here and talk some comics, shows, movies, all that good stuff and more. But first, check this out. Before we introduce everybody, please go ahead and hit up the sponsors here. If you haven't checked them out before, check out BigTimeCollectibles.com for all your exclusive variant needs. They got a big Ramen Gang mystery box about to be dropping. If it hasn't already dropped, and we all know how Big Time Collectibles does those mystery boxes. You do not want to miss out. And if you need anything cleaner press, hit up my boy Justin Comics over on Instagram. Use that promo code WeAreLegion and take advantage of the special offer that he's running, which he's always changing it. So hit him up. Let's see what he's got going on. For as little as $10 a book, he can take care of you. He can submit to CGC or CBCS for you, save you all the trouble and all the hassle. And if you are wondering about the quality of his work, check out my video from last week, as well as be on the lookout for the one that drops tomorrow. There's another CGC unboxing where he does some magic. It's straight up wizard work. But let's bring in the co-host for this evening. We have, as usual, Ryan, a.k.a. New Guy, a.k.a. The Cosmic Campfire, a.k.a. Unsolved Mysteries on the Run. Just for fun.
That was almost too rhymey. I like it though.
It had to be done. It had to be done. And Chris, the comic that does have a brand new work schedule. He started a new job this week, so and getting in the groove with that. He most likely will not be making it tonight. He's got a new schedule where he gets up like we do now.
Yeah.
So the struggle is real for him.
Right.
Let's see how it manages. I hope him the best, and yeah. Most definitely. But we do have another one of our good friends, longtime supporter of the channel, longtime friend of the channel, and you can find this man in the next sector over. You will not find him here in Sector 2814 too often because he hails all the way from Sector 2815. Mr. Paul Cook, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking.
You said I had a new face. This is the same face I've had for most of my life.
Same face, new face on this show. This is Paul's
okay.
first time joining us for At Week's End.
You never forget your first.
You don't. I believe this is your first time joining us for this show. I think so.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. I've been trying to, like I mentioned to you, trying to get more of the channel members that are content creators, get kind of rotate out and have some people on here. I don't like to do the complete open wide chat format for this because this is a pointed kind of conversation show. We like to make sure we have time to actually review books and everything, because that's really the foundation of what this show is kind of going over those new shows, new movies, and reviewing the comics that we read this week. And I don't ever want to lose touch of that, but I do want to be able to get a chance to do those things with more people. So I'm excited to get to do it with Mr. Paul Cook tonight. And before we go any farther, because I say this all the time, but people catch the front of the show more than they catch the end of the show. So, Paul, go ahead and tell people where they can find you and what you have going on right now with your content.
Okay, they can find me. I'm at Sector 2815 on YouTube. At Cook, COOKE 1616 on Instagram. What you can find me doing is we will be starting up again. It's been a little while, but we'll be starting up again. Guess That Key very soon. And then myself, as well as my good friend Mark, he and I do something called DC Comics Dark Crisis Deep Dive. And what we're doing is there's a lot of D's there, full of D's.
All the D's.
All of these. And so what we do is we are actually moving through Dark Crisis through both the book proper as well as all the tie-ins. We are taking, again, a deep dive look at each of those as they go along. And in that vein, Mark and I have a very special announcement for what's coming up. Coming up on July 11th, which is a week from tomorrow, Mark and I will be talking to Jeremy Adams, the author of The Flash, who is doing a tie-in because you can't have a crisis without a Flash.
Fundamental to it.
Exactly. So we will be interviewing him, and again, that'll be live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Hashtag
tomorrow,
real time.
July 11th. Exactly.
So that's going to be a blast.
So
that's going to be a blast.
Exactly. So, and we want as many people as possible to join
entire
us.
time fishing for stuff that he shouldn't be telling us. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Right. And he also
What-
is co-writing Flashpoint Beyond, which, if you saw our last episode, maybe
Yes.
has something going on there. Who knows?
That's where the fishing will be taking place. So so how are these things connected? Why are you on both of them?
Right.
And I don't need a straight answer from him. I just need to get the question out to him and just to see his face from there.
Right.
The last episode of. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say the last episode of Dark Crisis Deep Dive, me and Paul were getting ready to sign off. And we had an epiphany, like in real time, you watch it unfold. Where what if the San Diego Comic-Con announcement has something to do with Flashpoint Beyond and Dark Crisis not being two separate entities per se? And what if, being that Dr. Manhattan is the big T so far for Flashpoint Beyond, and you have these freaking eyes in the sky, this great darkness, like that's something that's big enough to actually catch his curiosity. And we know that's how Dr. Manhattan operates now. It's just what universal level something can spark his curiosity, and we haven't seen him since Doomsday Clock. We know Jeff Johns has got his foot in the door with this stuff, and Jeremy Adams is a connecting factor between those two things. So we'll see.
Exactly.
And DC did promise us something about Comic-Con.
Yep, they promised us that there would be something on the Dark Crisis panel that would change the entire way that we think of Dark Crisis. So,
and like I said to Paul, maybe it'll change the general public's idea. Maybe it'll change ours, or maybe we're just two psychopathic DC fanboys that already see it coming. Who knows? We'll see.
Right. By the end of the panel, our next episode, we may say it's all ambush bug.
That would be dope. I wouldn't even be mad at that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but real quick, let me say hey to the chat to see who we have in here so far. Nick's Kicks and Comics has popped in. What is going on, my good friend? Paul Rogers from the Augusta Book Exchange is up in here. Hello, hello. Pops is up in here. Let's go, Legionnaires. He loves throwing that out there. Ryan's up in the chat doing the Lord's work. Wheelchair Superhero 87. What is going on, my man? I put in every hashtag. Let's go. What is good, Brother John? Comics, hope you're doing good. Throw in the channel emojis. I love it when people use those. Again, I cannot tell you how difficult it is for me to make those. Not the normal tripod, but that is okay. Good to have another Paul here. Never too many Pauls. As Nick likes to say, never too many Nicks. Now, it was a nice get. That was all Paul. That was 100% Paul. I played no hand in that other than being difficult for scheduling purposes. That's all I did.
You were extremely enthusiastic. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I was very enthusiastic. He's like, does this say work? I'm like, I'm at work. Does this say work? I'm at work. Does this say work? Yeah, but what time? I got the kid. I'm so sorry, man. I felt so bad every time. I'm like, dude, he's doing all this work, and I'm the problem. I'm the problem. There it is, our quick hello from Mad Spidey. Always jumping in with a quickie. I appreciate it. What is going on, Logic Blaster? What's up, dudes? Glad you can make it tonight. Kyle, my man Ben Compton is in the house. What is going on? So, real quick, it is the first Sunday of the month. This is typically when I do the giveaway for the channel members. We are in the middle of that special event that DJ Links and myself, we came together like butt cheeks to do the Ultimate Fallout 4 giveaway for the channel members that are in the Legion tier. And so this month is getting rolled into next month for that big giveaway. But I did promise I will be doing a giveaway that I don't normally do for the people who aren't in the typical giveaway tier. And that I'm going to be rolling over to next week because I am just been too swamped to pull the names and all that good stuff, as well as I have all my stuff is still in boxes other than these couple of comics, which is just my Hulk run and my current reads just sitting behind me. So I don't even have access to all my stuff right now. So I'm still getting it organized from the move. So I appreciate everybody being patient with me for me to give you free stuff because I appreciate you all and I would love to give you free stuff. But hang in there, come back next week, and I'll definitely post about it on IG too to let people know and let you see what I'll be giving away for those people because I appreciate each and every one of you. And also because there was one person I talked to in the chat that pointed out in South America where they watch from, they do not have the option to join channels, do super chats, or anything like that. It's not even on their screens when they're watching YouTube where they're at. So I'm going to do a live chat giveaway as well. For that way, everybody, the channel members that are entered in the big giveaway, you're participating in something. The ones that aren't in the Ultimate Fallout 4 giveaway, you'll be participating in something. And then if you're just present, if you're just here, you can participate as well. That way, nobody is left out, because this is meant just to be the biggest thank you that DJ and myself both have done for all the people that have supported the channels along the way. So we're not going to leave anybody out. Hi, Becker. How are you? What is going on, Brandon? Looney Tunes Fan 2000. That was awesome to get to hang out and chat with him last night on Remy Q's channel. He hopped on the panel with us. That was cool stuff. But all right, let's get into it. Super Sons, DC Comics, Warner Brothers animated movie feature film coming out. Super Sons. Paul shared the as soon as it dropped, Paul was already sharing the info. The trailer looks awesome. I don't know, Ryan, did you get a chance to see the trailer? Did you hear that this was coming?
No, this is the first I'm hearing about it. So,
Hey,
enlighten
I
me.
have a question. I have a question for you. Do you know who wrote that?
Jeremy Adams.
Jeremy Adams.
Another thing that we're going to be off
Up and
topic
coming.
talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty fire.
Mm-hmm.
So the next DC animated original film looks like it's going to be Super Sons, spotlighting Jonathan Kent, Damian Wayne. It'll be around the time of them meeting for the first time, and it looks like our boy Starro is going to be the big villain in this. And I'm so down. You know, I'm down for that. But dude, it looks pretty dope how they do it too, because it's like he's not just external. You see him like coming out of people's mouths, then latching onto their faces. It looks wicked, and in all sincerity, it looks fun. It looked serious at times. It's definitely a little humorous at times. You literally see Damian square up with the whole Justice League in front of him. He says, "All right, Justice Dweebs, let's do this," and just goes for it. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. I laughed so hard at that, even though it was it looked tough.
And it's the first time that they're doing a computer generated animated movie as well.
It looked straight. I saw where you shared that. It looked like normal cartoon animation to me. I don't know why. It might have been the way they styled it. But that's pretty cool. And I'm hoping that this is in line with the stuff that they've been doing post Dark Side War. You know, we had Superman, Man of Tomorrow, Soul of the Dragon, the what was it, Wonder Woman, Justice Society, or it was just Justice Society one that
Justice
they did.
Society,
I love that one. That was awesome.
You know who wrote that?
You
know who wrote the Justice Society one?
Jeremy Adams.
He co-wrote it. Yep.
That's pretty crazy. What is going on, Brian? Hope you're doing all right.
Yep.
They also announced a Ruby Justice League animated film, right? I skipped that comic. I have no clue about anything with Ruby. What is it spelled? RWBY?
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it either. But yeah, they just announced that too for next year. So
Ruby's pretty awesome.
What is it?
It's an animated series that was done by Rooster Teeth. So you know they turned into a pretty big like media company out of Austin, but they started with Red versus Blue. And so Ruby, yeah,
I know what that is.
Yeah. So that became popular enough that they became a pretty big media company and started doing a lot of stuff. Really, Ruby itself is it was created by like this this Japanese American guy that like couldn't really get picked up anywhere else, and like he had like all these like crazy off the wall ideas, and it's just basically like these four girls. They're like in this special school in a world that like deals with demons, and they each kind of have like their special weapons and stuff. It's got like a lot of like anime influence to it and stuff, but it's also like heavily Americanized. So if you kind of think about like the Animatrix or Batman Gotham Knight, how you got like these American animators, but they grew up and kind of influenced by anime, you know, and so you get like this really unique blend of style. That's what Ruby comes from. I know they did like the Justice League Ruby series, and then obviously they're turning that into a movie or whatever. So I don't know what that means other than just the characters in that world, maybe. But as far as like the actual like web series that Rooster Teeth made with that guy out of it all, like it was a very unique take on like animation and very like pushing the envelope for what it was. So it was really cool. And also that guy died like very young, so kind of a tragic story of like visionary in the animation field. It was definitely on his way to like much bigger things, you know. So
That's pretty wild. I know that they did the actual miniseries comic book. Like probably started it about 2 years ago or so. That ran for I don't know how many issues it was, but I do know they did the Ruby Justice League comic book. It just wasn't anything that hit my radar to pick up or anything.
Yeah, and that Ruby miniseries that they did, not the one with the Justice League, but I want to say it was supposed to be like 6 or 7 issues, and they only released like six. And issue number 7, they actually had printed, but they put it into like the Walmart packs. So that's really the only place that you could get like issue number 7 if you wanted to get that.
oh, that might be a nice little pop for the collectors out there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm surprised they're like going that far with it, but I mean, seems like it's definitely made Rooster Teeth some money over the years, you know.
Right. So the RWBY, those are colors basically. Is that what we're like red, white, blue, and yellow or something? Or what?
I haven't watched the whole series, but yeah, it kind of yeah, I believe they do like pretty much follow those colors.
Okay.
I know like the yellow one is Ruby's sister. Ruby is the red one,
Okay.
and that's her actual name is Ruby. But like kind of the conglomerate of the team, you know, is RWBY, and they each have like individual weapons. So Ruby, I want to say Ruby's is like a big scythe. And then like her sister is yellow. She has like hers is like really cool because she has like these gauntlets, but whenever she punches, like they shoot like shotguns, you know. And so they like fight deep. Like the action is like top notch. Like it's if nothing else, it's like real short episodes, you know, because it was a web series like pretty early on in like web series world, probably like 2012ish or so. And so the actual episodes are super short, but like the action is like bar none, like some of the coolest animated fighting you'll ever see.
Oh wow!
I mean, like I said, like this one chick, like she has gauntlets and they're like shotguns. So wherever she punches, they're like shooting shotguns, and then it's got like all this like crazy like martial arts influence on it and stuff. You know, it's phenomenal. It's top notch stuff. I would definitely suggest checking out a couple clips just to like get into like how the characters move and the action of it all because it's intense.
Yeah, I'll have to search that out.
Also, here in the last couple of days, what is it? Wakanda Forever images. Disney started putting out the Wakanda Forever promo pictures, and they're not live action stills. They're art drawings that we saw what Disney's Submariner and Disney's Atuma will look like. And Atuma looks super cool. I think Submariner does too. They have heavily Mayan influences on them, which the design makes it look super awesome. I'm not sure how they're going to play that into the story, but my brain and like the whole little alternate history stuff kind of goes directly to like the Omex, that those people in history that like all these different ancient civilizations share this mythos of these traveling tribe that kind of went. So I think it'd be pretty cool if they kind of lean into some of that alternate history stuff that's theorized and all that. But it looks pretty. The designs look pretty cool. I mean, that's all we have, but it's supposed to release at the end of this year. I didn't realize it was coming that fast, so we should be getting some kind of like actual trailers or teasers or something pretty soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, you would think they have to do something pretty soon, because maybe there'll be something attached to Thor.
That's what I was starting to think. Like we might get a teaser trailer at the front end of Thor, which that comes out at the end of this week, doesn't it?
Yeah, the end of this week. Yep.
So I'm definitely not going to see it when it comes out, but I am going on vacation the very next week, and there's this very little theater on the island, and we tend to go see a movie every year, like one evening. So I'll probably just hold off and go see it while I'm on vacation. That'd be pretty fun. Take the wife, the oldest. I guess I don't know if it's gonna be kid appropriate or not. It's kind of on the fence with stuff for like the younger kids these days. Doctor Strange was a little horrific and stuff, and like they got like Thor naked in the trailers even. So I don't know. That's not that big of a deal really, but.
Human anatomy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty like I don't know. I'm up in the air on Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, whatever their official title is.
Yeah.
Not that I think it's gonna be bad because like that movie was really good beyond just Chadwick Boseman, who obviously was amazing, but there was a lot more going on in that movie that was incredibly solid. So I have faith that they're still going to make a good property out of it and everything. But also, like, I have zero clue what to expect on that. Like, they pretty much tease the next movie at the end of every Marvel movie, so you kind of know like what the sequel to whatever you watch is going to be, but such a curveball. I really don't know what to expect out of Black Panther 2. So I'm kind of excited to see it. At the same time, I'm like, I really don't know what to expect out of this. So I don't know how excited to be or how concerned to be.
Yeah, I think a lot of talk came out of Eternals too, just because that Celestial coming out of the ocean, everyone's like that would disturb him, and just kind of picture like Submariner fighting on the marbleized hand of a dead Celestial. I think that would be cool to see that coming. I think it's just gonna be cool to get Submariner. Like them aquatic characters, man, they're cool. I like Aquaman. Submariner's cool. I don't know what it is. The ocean's just such a mysterious, cool place. You know what I mean? Like look, like what was it, Andromeda, the Aquaman Andromeda? Like, look how just the mysteriousness of the ocean is just such a great setting. But I don't know if we're going to be very much in the ocean in this versus on the land, being that the primary focus and character of the movies are land-based people. And it's also going to be interesting to see what they do post Chadwick Boseman, being that they're not going to be recasting Black Panther, if they're going to be passing on his mantle, if we're just going to be following like the side characters from the previous movie. We know Suri's supposed to be taking a major role in this one, but Atuma's the main bad guy. So they're, in my opinion, it looks like they're just using this just as a Submariner movie more than anything. With Atuma, your main bad guy, I mean that's a Submariner villain.
Yeah, I don't know like how they initiate everything, but I imagine what you're going to get is somebody attacking, maybe Submariner attacking Wakanda, and we're going to see the background cast from the first movie kind of defend Wakanda and see a like natural leader rise out of that, whoever they're selecting to kind of take on the mantle. And we'll probably see them probably in the last third of the movie, or even like post credit stinger is like them walking out and putting on the suit or something, and getting that big reveal. But I think that's kind of like how I kind of see it playing out. Somebody attacks Wakanda, society comes together to defend it, and naturally we kind of see a leader rise out of that instigation.
Returning cast wise, everyone's coming back.
Right.
Everyone.
I thought it was kind of interesting that Kevin Feige actually came out this week and kind of said, like, he was kind of almost trying to like still the waters, like saying, hey, we have a plan for everything. Like there was like he was kind of trying to get ahead of things. He was saying, like the clues of where we're going are all out there if you know what to look for. I think the next big thing will be their D23 that they have in September. I think that's when we'll get the next huge dump of information. But I just thought it was kind of interesting that they actually put that out, because I think in some ways, at least to me, some of the things that they've done recently have been not as overwhelming as I feel some of the things they've done in the past. And so
it's all been downhill after Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of has. Like I think some people may feel as though it's kind of floundering right now, and it needs some sort of direction. And so, he kind of came out and said, "Hey, you know what? We know what we're doing. Or just kind of like just give us a second. Well, it'll all be worth it."
To Ryan's point about like with this movie, like kind of seeing something happen and that natural progression of the next like head of this specific franchise coming out of the battle, out of the smoke, whatever. They need that for the MCU as a whole. We had the Avengers, we had Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man that really just solidified the head of it. Everything that else happened, no matter what, if it was an individual, it happened around them. Even Guardians of the Galaxy, that was a cool side piece. But I mean, look at them now. Now they're with Thor. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
that was your MCU, and everything else was just around that. They don't have that anymore. And it shows. Not just a bunch of random stuff. Yeah, it's connected, but it's still just a bunch of random stuff getting thrown against the wall.
Right.
Yeah, I would really like to see them build more pocket universes and like keep stuff like Wakanda and even like keep all of that kind of to itself. Let's have I think that would have been like the best move they could have made with Eternals, again, just like making it a serious drama and setting it apart from the MCU and stuff, and like kind of carving this space out for like more adult watchers and keeping it all separate. Like, you know, because in the comic books, like the Avengers, like they came as like, these are our prominent characters, and there's still like so much going on that they're not involved in. Whereas with the MCU, it was almost built backwards, where it feels like everybody that's introduced at some point becomes part of the Avengers. And like, so you're running into this problem where like you have to watch everything in order to keep up with anything, you know? And if they would keep Wakanda as like a separate universe, if they had done the Eternals as a separate universe, if we had like the Guardians of the Galaxy and all their stuff as a separate universe, you wouldn't have to worry about that so much. But because every character that gets introduced, now you're just kind of like waiting, like, okay, so when do they become an Avenger? When is this one going to be an Avenger? You know, and it's like, we shouldn't have that anticipation. We should enjoy that character for who they are. But at this point, it feels like everybody has to become an Avenger, or else they're not really that important.
And this is a interesting point. He said, I think they will. House of L says, I think they will use this to bring in the X-Men, I hope. And you know, Submariner is a mutant. You know, he's not like naturally Atlantean. He's a mutant. I don't know if they've retconned that somewhere along the way in comics or anything, or if they'll go that route. But we had Professor X show up, so now, you know, the foot's in the door.
Although Submariner has a much greater connection to the Fantastic Four than he does the X-Men.
Yeah. So, I mean, this gives you so many opportunities to do something. Like, Submariner's been around a long time, and, you know, I'm going to be excited to see how many people's like, oh, it's my favorite character. They're finally doing him, when he's historically been nobody's favorite character. Like, you know, he's gone through so many little changes over the years, brought in as a good guy, as a bad guy, toying with his powers, trying to explain why he was a bad guy. And, you know, he can't be away from the water for too long, or he starts losing his mind and stuff like that. But it'll be interesting for sure. Logic Blaster says maybe Black Panther 2 will surprise us, but I'm skeptical how that film blows up without the primary hero character. Yeah, 100%. That's why I think they're. I mean, I know Submariner was teased forever ago for this film. They're gonna have to really lean into it. Like, he's gonna have to steal the show. I think he's gonna be the one that has to arise, and this is gonna just be our last Black Panther outing. I don't know. It went downhill after Captain Marvel, I think. Yeah, at the opening credits of Captain Marvel, really. Got him. Yeah, I didn't hate that movie. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. The action was fun in it. I
didn't hate the movie. I just hated the main character.
Yeah, I don't think it's definitely it's one of those things when you hold it up against the amazing stuff that they've done, it's hard to be very forgiving of it.
It was just like the most flat character arc I've ever seen.
I don't like what they did to Nick Fury in it. They made him a joke in that. Like, he was serious and tough the whole time. They made him the comic relief goofball. Like, this is weird. Like, we know how he lost his eye. Now you're telling me that this little cosmic parasite cat got him? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I assume they just have more Boseman. Well, everyone in the Marvel Universe has been in the Avengers at one point, I think.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I just think the comic universe feels a lot bigger than the MCU universe does.
Right.
Whenever it feels that small and claustrophobic, it just feels like you're always waiting for them to join. Whereas in the comic universe, it feels so much bigger that even if they are an Avenger, it doesn't feel like that's their only role, you know?
Yeah. Well, in other news, in DC-related movie news, you know, Black Adam is on the way, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson does not stop pumping this movie up. And it's not just this movie, it's just potential future stuff. He put out a tweet the other day that reads, "From back in the day when I was wrestling in flea markets for $40 a match, all the way to now, I've learned to always listen to the audience because they will always lead you to where you need to go. I hear you, and I always got you." And along with that post, he put up a photo of the Black Adam chest logo and the Henry Cavill Superman logo side by side. So this man is not giving up. He's telling us straight up that he's got us. For all of us out there that want Cavill back, for all of us out there that want to see Black Adam fight Superman, like, you know, Black Adam is historically a Captain Marvel villain, but that's really not the fight we want to see. You know, we We want to see Henry Cavill fight Black Adam. Like, that's the real fight, you know, weakness to magic, like the champion of magic. Like, that's what we want to see. And The Rock says he wants to see it too, and he's not giving up. He hears us and he's got us. That's like some of the most optimistic news. Like, when I read that, and it's like, oh, it gets me pumped.
Yeah, and it's, you know, and the way he did it too, it's like it's not going to be, you know, just Henry, you know, just a Superman costume that shows up for lunch and you only see everything from the shoulders down. You know, he's like, you know, so I mean, he definitely he is all about, you know, the fans. He really is. And the first issue of the tie-ins comes out this week as well. Hawkman.
Yes. Black Adam, Justice League Files, Hawkman One Shot. Which, for those that are out there that are not too familiar with the cast that's going to be featured in the upcoming Black Adam movie, this is going to be a series of one-shots. 4 to be specific. Each one will feature a different one of the JSA members, and it's kind of giving us a little bit of in-movie content, context story. And the Black Adam one is going to be featuring Hawkman battling it out or dealing with the Gentleman Ghost, which I think is fantastic because that canons the Gentleman Ghost at this point into the movie universe. And it looks like from the synopsis that we're also going to be getting 2-part stories, because there's also going to be a Black Adam piece in this with him and his son before his son died. And this is going to be set thousands of years ago. So I think we're going to be getting a lot of cool. It's one of those things like you're not going to miss out on anything if you don't pick these up and only watch the movie, but you're going to gain so much more having read these and seeing the movie. And the best part, the B covers are movie photo variants. So, yeah, I'm all in. I've got all 4 of those movie photo variants on my pull list. I'm very excited. That has always been his goal, but he said he doesn't know if it would be Henry Cavill, last I heard. Well, in all seriousness, I honestly believe that depends on what The Rock wants. If Cavill is down and The Rock wants it, and I'm not saying this like he's special, but he is. Like, The Rock is, he knows how to work this stuff. You know what I mean? He just really knows how to move through the parameters of Hollywood to accomplish things. And he's not disrespectful about it. He's a humble individual, but he's also the highest paid actor in Hollywood for a reason. Like, the people that hire him have enough faith to give him this amount of money because they know they'll see it back. And if that guy with that kind of natural pool, you know, I mean, you probably want to listen to him. He seems to knows he's known what he's done his whole career this far. You know, as long as Cavill's down, I think that's what we'll get. There's no reason we wouldn't. I know Cavill's busy these days, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's come a long way from the Scorpion King, that's for sure. But he also, I mean, he extended, I think, the Fast and the Furious franchise by probably 4 or 5 movies, I would say.
At least. Yeah, he came in and saved that franchise in number 5. They even had that spinoff movie with him and Jason Statham, which I thought was going to be absolutely stupid. And it was ridiculous, but it was one of the funnest buddy cop movies I've ever seen, and probably my favorite installment to the entire franchise, because it was just fun watching him and Jason Statham go back and forth. It was hilarious. What I understand is he owns part of the movie rights to the Shazam line. Dude, that would be super, super smart. That would that's kind of funny because Joey's tried to get this movie off the ground for so long, or at least he's been attached to it in some way, shape, fashion, or form. I'm not surprised to hear that he actually went in and invested to make it happen. And I think he is like you see his name as a producer of some capacity in most of the stuff that he does.
Yeah, he was attached to this probably as long, if not longer, than what's the guy's name who was attached to Gambit for a long time?
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum, yeah.
Yep. I'm excited to see what comes of it. It'll be fun. Just, I mean, like you said, like he's been attached for so long. It's just going to be nice to see this movie finally see the light of day, especially since we got the other one, Shazam, and we saw like how the costumes and how that universe can kind of work on screen and stuff. I think that really boosted the confidence that like Black Adam can work as a movie, you know. And
Probably
Yeah,
more
and
so in this day and age
and
too.
then at one
oh yeah,
point bringing them together, right? Obviously, because
yeah,
at some
that
point you
too.
have to bring
Yeah,
them together.
I'm still more than anything excited about the JSA coming in. Like I think Black Adam's cool. He's a great DC villain. Like he has some of the coolest villain moments ever. Like, do y'all remember back in Infinite Crisis when Psycho Pirate? He just had enough of Psycho Pirate, so he just put his 3 fingers on Psycho Pirate's mask and just pushed it straight through his head, just in one panel, straight through. I'm like, he's just a tough dude. But also related to that, the McFarlane line for the DC Multiverse figures, they did drop the entire rollout for the Black Adam film. We have all 4 JSA characters plus a deluxe size Black Adam. We have what's the guy's name? The bad guy, Sabat.
So Sabak.
Yeah, Sabak, the big devilish looking dude. It'll be a mega figure. And then we have 2 different Black Adams that they've shown already. One that's just the sleeker suit, and then one that has the hood and the cloak on it.
Right.
So,
And two Atom Smashers too, right? They have a larger, bigger one.
One's the deluxe. Yeah, unfortunately, it's bigger, but it's like it goes from like 7 to 10 inch. You know, like they should have done like this is your opportunity to do something different. Drop a big boy.
It should have been. It should have been like a Spectre Hero Clicks compared to everything else.
Yes. Yes.
Play into his audience.
I heard he is the guy that hired the guy that plays Shazam. Oh, wow. I don't even know that actor's name.
I do, but I can't think of it right now.
Something Levi.
Zachary Levi. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, he played in the first Thor movie as well as one of the Warriors 3.
He was Chuck.
Which one?
He was Chuck on TV, right?
Oh, Chuck, the TV show. Yeah, I didn't think about that. So that's pretty much all I've got on the list of things that caught my attention this week. I'm sure there's more, but I forgot to make a post about it to remind myself. I've been sitting here cheating, going back and looking on my Instagram. I'm like, what did I post? I don't know if y'all can hear it, but they're shooting fireworks all in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's not a drive-by. I don't live in Burke's neighborhood. This is a decent neighborhood. It's a nice
neighborhood. I thought maybe your new house was in Baghdad.
No. Not too far. I thought I was the geography wizard, Paul.
The only other news I have, Tom King did announce that he has so far he has 2 panels at San Diego Comic-Con. And one of them is going to be him and Tom Taylor and maybe some other people just talking about like, DC characters and general like stuff like that. He teased it as the panel of Toms. And then and then his other one is supposed to be an announcement for whatever his next DC book is, which is going to be another one of those like bringing an obscure character back to life sort of
Danger
thing.
Street. They're going to hopefully give us, like they announced Danger Street.
Mm-hmm.
They're going back and revisiting the DC first issue specials, which features a whole host of characters.
Well, he's talked about
Dr. Fate. So hopefully they'll be actually talking about that. And that.
Yeah, well, he's talked about that. It's kind of, it's not that it's shelved, but it's been pushed. Like, it doesn't really fit in with what they have coming out right now. And so it's not been shelved because they've actually already paid the artist. Like, the book is basically done. But they are kind of like rescheduling it to match better with what else is coming out on the line. So
I'm not frozen. Yeah. I'm just annoyed by that news. It makes no sense to me.
So and the way he talked about it, like they haven't set a definite date, but it's also not getting pushed that far back, from what I understand.
That's fine. We still have he has a lot of series wrapping up. Killing Time 5 out of 6 comes out next week. Batcat wrapped up this week.
Mm-hmm.
Supergirl wrapped up a month or 2 ago.
He has the Riddler One Bad Day coming out.
That whole line of one shots for the villains, right?
but he had a post. He had a Twitter post, I think it was, because some guy asked him. He said, to your point, he said, your Batcat is done. You're 5 or 6 in killing time. You have the first of the One Bad Day. And he basically said the same thing. He said, don't worry. He goes, I got lots more stuff coming out from DC. So
that's awesome.
He also has a creator-owned project with Image that's supposed to be coming out soon, getting announced soon, something to that effect.
That's how I feel, John. Just put it out. It's Black Label.
Yeah.
It fits. Yeah. No matter what it is, it fits. It's Black Label. Dude, Swamp Thing Green Hell got canceled. Did y'all know that?
I didn't know it got canceled. I just know that it hasn't been around for months and months.
The only place that you can even find images for 2 or 3 are on I think Things from Another World's website that posts out. Everyone else has already taken it down off their website. You look, and I think it goes to the whole thing, like, Lemire, pretty much called it quits with the big 2. I think, he had started this and they couldn't come to terms or something. I don't know the details, but all I can assume is they couldn't come to final terms or anything.
Well, his schedule is crazy packed right now because what's the county that he does that series? Something County.
The Bone County, something like that, right? He just put out a
the Bone Orchard.
Yeah, the Bone Orchard, but that's a whole universe that he's creating, right?
Yeah, that's him and Sorrentino, and that's actually going to come out and then go on hiatus as well. But his series, I forget what it's called now, but basically the show, he ran the writer's room for that. They have everything scripted. And so now he's location scouting and starting filming. And so he's actually announced everything he has is on hiatus at this point. Everything Black Hammer is on hiatus. All of his Substack stuff. Essex County.
Yeah, I just looked at it.
Yeah. That show is ready to go. They're gonna start filming and he's gonna have to be on location while filming. And so he's starting scouting now, location scouting now, and then they're going to go right into filming once they have all their locations and stuff. So,
you think Green Hell wasn't finished? It was just 3 issues.
Yeah, that I don't know. He's never really talked about that specifically in any of the stuff I follow, but I do know everything he's doing right now is going on hiatus until he kind of finishes filming on the Essex County TV show.
Wow.
See, there's nothing official that's come out and said that it's canceled. It's just been pulled from everything.
Yeah.
Issue 2 was originally slated to come out in March, dude.
Yeah. Because even the Black Orchard or Bone Orchard stuff with Sorrentino, that's just starting. One book is going to come out from it, and then it's basically going on hiatus until he finishes filming. So, this is a pretty big project.
Yeah, they shouldn't even put that book out then. They should wait.
Yeah,
see, they should release Danger Street because it's finished, and they shouldn't release that other one because it's not ugh. Dude, I don't think I've ever been more excited for a Tom King story than Danger Street because that's so right up his alley. Getting characters aren't used a lot, using obscure characters and being able to play with them in such a way. And
I mean, the only defense I can give to that is
you know what I mean? They're about to bring Jack Kirby's Atlas back into that. Come on.
The only defense I can give for that, you hear writers talk all the time, they pitch full series and stuff to say Aftershock, right? And Aftershock will tell them this is a great pitch, this book will definitely sell. It just doesn't really fit in with what our line is or the thing we're creating, And not just them, all kinds of different publishers, even Image, they'll reject a perfect pitch on the basis that it doesn't fit in with their company image, And
I wonder if this has to do with Black Adam and the timing of everything, because it was going to be featuring Dr. Fate heavily, and we have Dr. Fate about to be getting introduced to the grand stage for the first time. You know what I mean? Maybe they wanted to steer the tone of that character. I don't know, but
yeah,
I don't know, man. As long as we'll be getting it, I'm
there's
definitely
politics in it too. You just never really know what exactly that means. But that's what he said is they've already paid for the artwork and basically the artwork is all done except for maybe 1 or 2 issues. So basically the project's done and DC's paid for everything on it. So they're not just going to shelve it. That's what Tom King has said about that. I think last month, in fact, on his podcast, it's not going to get shelved because they've already invested all the money in it. the editors that are working with him on it, they're as excited for it as he is, and as much as the fans are. It just, time-wise, it doesn't line up with what their line is doing, and so they're trying to find a better spot to fit it in. So
that's fine. That's fine. It is what it is.
He's all but promised it to us, so at least we get that much, you know.
Well, if they do go through and do more of the, if they do go and do more of those first issue specials, I would love to see a Mike Grell Warlord in that big.
Oh, that'd be cool. You know, yeah, I just met Mike Grell at Heroes. He was there, and he was just sitting there drawing the whole time. It was glorious.
Nice.
It was really cool. All right, well, we kicked the bucket around for a while. It's already after 10. Y'all want to talk some comic books?
Yeah. Speaking of Swamp Thing, there's a Green Lantern Swamp Thing.
Yeah, we knew Paul would be excited about this, so we'll hit that one first up. Swamp Thing issue 14 of 16 from Ron V's. No less than epic return of the character in like proper fashion with an ongoing. This was a cool issue. There hasn't been a bad issue yet. Paul, go ahead, take us out, man. What did you think?
It was in some ways you had to really pay attention to this issue. This is not an issue you can, there was a lot of exposition as to what's going on. But that last panel, I almost forgot everything that happened before because I saw that last panel with Swamp Thing with a Green Lantern symbol on his chest, and I'm like, oh my God, I think, like a little bit of pee came out.
It was pretty cool. So Hal Jordan came to Levi Kamei in the last issue saying that there is an invasion coming for Earth, and it's all botanical-based alien creatures, and they want the Avatar of the Green to try to communicate with them and do something before they just go all Green Lantern on them. And Levi breaks the news that I am not the Avatar of the Green. The Parliament has taken it away because they're not happy with my performance and my acceptance of the power. And while all this is going on, we see the new Avatar of Industry setting up shop, kind of just boasting about what he is and how unstoppable he is and how the Parliament will come for him, which Jacob, Levi's brother, is kind of heading that, and how he's just going to wipe them out, blah, blah, blah. And up in space, we have Levi taps in. He's not completely undetached from the green. He taps into the little bit of essence that he has, and he basically does it by turning into a dandelion, like just growing a dandelion and blowing the dandelion toward these creatures. And that one little seed from the dandelion seeps in, and he's able to tap in to the essence of these botanical aliens and kind of just really dials in and tries to figure out what they want, and sees that it's a hive mentality and everything. And by the end of it, like Paul just said, we get the credo, we get the Green Lantern credo, and then we see Swamp Thing full effect, Green Lantern out, the emerald light shining through him, the emblem popping off his chest, and him just latching on to these creatures. So I was wondering how they're really going to do anything. Like, why would you bring Green Lantern in at issue 13 when we're so close to the end? And they're using this. How perfect with somebody who's having a hard time grasping what he is, than just the concept of willpower now being introduced to it, like having to just accept, overcome, adapt, all that. And that requires massive willpower. And that it became such a great touch. Like, he really brought it all in instantly in this issue. It was just kudos to Ron V as always.
Yeah,
he's just a master when it, at least in this particular title he is. He's just knocking it out of the park, and I can't imagine that when this is over, that they're not gonna somehow continue, Swamp Thing as a series.
Oh, they've got to do something. I mentioned it before. I'm waiting for that next extension, and I don't know.
There's going to be a season 3. There's no way.
There has to be. I don't know if they're going to wait because of the Dark Crisis event, because we know Hal Jordan just came back in Dark Crisis proper. Showed back up on Earth saying, what's going on? Where's the Justice League? This actually explains, like, if you want to like play continuity, like DC does have intentionally looser continuity, but this book gives you the reason why Hal is back when he is back. He came back. He's working, like it's a big sector. Paul, you know how big these sectors are. 2814 is pretty big. His job just happened to bring him back home, and he's here. He's dealing with this. Then you go check in with your homies before you leave again. So it was kind of cool for continuity purposes and the grander scale as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought like like a lot of that narration and just like the use of the visuals was great, right? But like the actual narration and the verbiage itself was just very poetic, and how he described kind of the horror of what the industry has done to the planet, and then having Levi counter that with, but it came from the humans, and you're talking about eradicating like this alien thing, but you have to understand that it comes from something that's not alien at all, but
Yeah.
very natural to the planet, and the way that whole dialogue and that conversation just like flowed was
And they still didn't
freaking
care.
Poetry, man. Like,
yeah, but
yeah,
they still couldn't convince them. They're like, yeah, now we're gonna kill you anyway.
yeah. But I thought like it made a great argument, as far as like humanity, and we've seen Ram V like kind of deal with this, like in the Many Deaths of Layla Starr. He did a lot of comparing and contrasting like the corporate world versus what that means for humanity, and like the gods and immortality and what that means for humanity. So like he's really good at like tapping into and bringing everything back to like that human nature and what does it mean to even be human in the first place. And so I thought it was like really cool the way that he like got in this like very abstract mindset and then like brought it all back to like this willpower, and then we get Trinity at the end there again. It's like, all right,
dude, she's the right place, wrong time queen so far. The couple of little shots we've got of her, because here they come crashing down to earth and just right in front of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, what he did with Justice League Dark, I bought the Justice League for his story in the back as opposed to what Bendis was doing in front.
Yeah, I couldn't keep up with it, but that's literally the only reason I was paying for something that Bendis was writing.
$6 for 8 pages.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Like yep. I hope he is listening to that. Not that I have anything against Bendis, but like they really should understand like how much of a draw Ram V was on something like that.
Well, I think they got it because Paul, didn't they announce, and my news guy down here, isn't next summer, they already announced next summer's event is supposed to be a Justice League Dark event?
Yes. Yep.
It's supposed
to be all magical.
Yeah, so we know we have Merlin on a warpath. We know that it's tied into the old gods, the source wall, all that good stuff. It goes all the way to Atlantis, at the source of all magic in DC Comics multiverse. And now we've just been sitting idly by waiting to get more information on it. They just kind of left us hanging. They timed that out. And now we just see the Justice League Dark popping up in other places,
Right. And so I see also, because what he is doing next is he's taking over Detective Comics.
Yes, starting next issue.
Exactly. And so I would expect that there'd be to me, symbolism is going to be huge, I think, in his issues, I think.
Yeah, so everyone's talking, Batman 125 drops next week, is it, Paul? And that's Chip Zdarsky taking over. Yeah, this week. Yeah. So that's Chip Zdarsky taking over the main Batman title for a long run, which is cool and everything. But I've said this for as long as I've been on YouTube. Detective Comics is constantly always a more consistent, straight up Batman story without all the inconsistent ups and downs and all these attempted gags. And it's like 90-day gimmick covers, but inside of story. It's weird what they do with the main Batman line these days, but I'm guarantee you I'm going to be more hyped for what Ram V will be doing than what's going on in the main line.
Mm-hmm. Is it 1062 that he takes over?
I can tell you because I have this week's issue here. And he takes over the very next one. Yeah, the very next issue.
Nocturne 1 of 4. It doesn't come out until the end of July 26th.
That makes sense because this one just came out.
That's how I have it listed.
Yeah, this one just came out this week, the last week in June, so next month.
And he's going to be on there with Raphael Albuquerque, I think, right?
Is that the artist?
Yeah. The guy who did American Vampire.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty dope. I'm going to miss Ivan Reis on the arts. I like Ivan Reis. He's like one of the most consistent comic booky, dynamic looking interior artists you'll get. I still think in recent times his Superman Batman work on that team book that God, was it G. Hill and the Lee?
Yep.
Dude, that was a rare treat. That final 8 issues of that run, like you don't get that much.
We had the film strip running through everything.
Yes, with a Taro
IO.
Yeah, that was such a treat.
Yeah,
while we're on Detective,
which
burn this.
Thinking about like Ivan Reis, like that artwork, a lot like Dan Mora too, who is another like just like top notch, phenomenal Batman,
clean.
Yeah,
very
kind of action driven.
That's the word that comes to me whenever I think of Ivan Reis as clean.
I love to see like if like he was who was on Superman with Bendis, and dude, like say what you want, but that art was just consistent. But then you had JR over on Action mailing it in, which I like, but I'm not stupid. I'm not blind. I realize how this is not going to hit unless you're like drawing from your childhood while you're reading this. Like this dude they didn't even draw a face on this guy's head over here. It was rough. It was very, very inconsistent between the two titles. But Detective Comics 1061 came out. It was a complete filler issue. This little Riddler 3-issue thing. It was kind of tying into the lady that's heading up the Task Force Z stuff with the zombie and everything, and just family drama with her. It was all very goofy. When is a criminal not a criminal? And it's pretty much when you cover up for him kind of thing. The whole little justice system in Gotham. Everyone is pretty much guilty of something, and they're all living with their guilt and covering stuff up for each other. And it was a little goofy, unnecessary Talia appearance in it just for the sake of having her in it. She didn't play any significant part other than at the end when she meets up with Batman at the end. He's like, "Oh, you sent me that list of names of who these guilty parties were." She's like, "Maybe." Like it was like I've called it. It was just a little 3-issue filler story just to round out their time on the title. Definitely not worth going back and picking up and reading if you didn't get it. It was perfectly fine if it's something you pick up on your monthlies, but
it was definitely just the bridge between Shadows of the Bat and Rom V coming in.
Dude, Shadows of the Bat was good. That Arkham Tower story, that was really good. What else one of y'all got? That was my burner.
I don't know if Paul read Batman Beyond the White Knight. I don't want to ruin that for you, but I'll just say
you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It kind of like gave Terry some like actual agency beyond just like being a pawn. And he like kind of made his hero turn in this issue, so that was great. I liked the way it ended, but although I thought it was kind of awkward that it went like 2 pages longer than it should have, maybe. But it was a pretty solid reveal there, so I thought it was a cool setup.
Yeah, and it was the obvious, bridge over to, the White Knight, the Red Hood, rather.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Like, he kind of made the big reveal as to, like, I think any astute reader's like, okay, we know where this is headed. And it had, like, a great, like, full-page splash. And there was like, oh, let's add 2 more pages where he literally says what you thought as soon as you saw that 2-page splash. And then, like, end it there. And I was like, kind of telegraphed, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Murphy and his series have just done wonders. I think they've all been just incredible from the very first one.
I still think the second volume is the best one, though. That Curse of the White Knight. I don't know why that one just.
And he can move it to more. I mean, there's a million characters in the. He definitely doesn't have a dearth of characters that he can bring into his universe.
He's already killed the entire Rogues Gallery from the Batman proper.
This one opened. He let
Azrael slaughter them all.
Yeah, I was gonna say this one opened with the Sons of Azrael or whatever they're called in this. And so, like, as someone who hasn't read any of the White Knight stuff, this was probably only the second issue in this where they made enough references to some of the previous stuff where I was like, yeah, I definitely want to go back and read all that now.
Yeah, he does a good job of like again, like when you have good sci-fi, it doesn't explain to you the world it's happening in. You just have to participate in it to get it. That's why Dune was so good. But that's how this is. He's not sitting there just leaning into everything that came before. He's assuming that you're a part of this world and that you've read it per se. But spoiler alert, Ryan, Azrael went in Arkham Asylum and did what Batman never had the guts to do. He went in Arkham Asylum and slaughtered every single member of the Rogues Gallery save Joker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No one's left alive from the Batman proper Rogues Gallery other than Harley Quinn at this point.
Yeah. Well, not really a spoiler because they make that pretty obvious in this book. So, but yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed that. I liked that they brought in the face scrambler technology.
Did we get Matches Malone?
No, but we got like Joker's daughter. She's kind of like in a bar underage and like kind of like brings her inner Joker out, and she's got like a face scrambler on whenever she does it. So that was pretty cool. We got like the setup for the Beyond the White Knight Red Hood or whatever it's called.
Yep.
So that series will be starting, I think, at the end of this month or maybe sooner. Is
it going to be a one shot or a series though?
There's at least 2 issues because they've solicited at least 2 issues.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like a full 4-issue run.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely set that up. You see Red Hood like put on his helmet and like drive off on his motorcycle, and they're like continued in Curse of the White Knight, Red Hood, or whatever it's called.
I think it's giving Sean Murphy the break to be able to do the art when it's over, so that they'll really won't be they'll at least be some White Knight issue that comes out every month.
Yeah, and then as far as like Bruce, we get like Bruce and kind of accepting that Jack is the Joker and all that, and they have like a bunch of conversation and stuff. That's great. And then you get a lot of Max Powers and Terry McGinnis stuff. So that's kind of like what rounds out the issue is, their 2 arcs kind of like converging. Oh, and you get Duke and Barbara, which is just great because Duke's like huge, and he's like wearing the Robin costume and stuff. They're like, I can't believe that even fits. Like, yeah.
Does it look like he's being genuine, like flipping over to her side and working with her? Or do you think he's just going to turn and he's really still working with Dick Grayson?
No, it could be a hard play for the Dick Grayson thing, but no, it comes off pretty sincere in this one that Barbara and Duke are working outside of Dick. Like, the impression they give in this issue is certainly that Dick Grayson is too far to the, into the GCPD and all that stuff at this point. Like, he's a lost cause. So maybe there's still another turn left there, but it definitely felt it was a pretty hard push to make you believe that Dick Grayson's a lost cause at this point.
Nice.
Action Comics, War World.
So this is the first book that I read pretty much almost every time it comes out. And this was a lot chiller of an issue. There's been a lot that's been happening, major story plot progression that's been going nonstop. And this one I thought was really good because it gave me, as the reader, a moment to breathe and just stew in the essence that is Superman. And like it just really spotlights how much Philip Kennedy Johnson understands this character. So in this issue, we get a lot of Superman just being Superman. We get interactions with some of the inhabitants of War World that he's trying to save, which we learned early on that he can't just tell them what's good. He can't just explain to them that living in chains is bad. Killing is not the way to earn self-respect. He's having to stay in and still hope the old-fashioned way by leading by example. Don't listen to what I say, watch where my feet are kind of thing. And you have these like really heartfelt moments where he's just interacting with these people, and they're kind of, you see the light bulb is coming on with the people that he's trying to liberate from this hell that they live in. And in the midst of all this, they're trying to get Light Ray, who was part of the team that came there originally as his Superman of the Authority team. Mongol still has OMAC kind of under his boot, and because he has Light Ray, and we have some of his horrific creatures kind of roaming around, being in play in this one. Something Mother, I forget what it's called, is like this keeper of souls, if you will, and that is where they have to go to find Light Ray. And they kind of aim it at Mongol, kind of throw it in Mongol's face, and he just slaughters it like it's nothing. Like I thought that was pretty cool because we hadn't seen Mongol do much other than beat up a weakened Superman at this point. And they also lean into this issue to remind us as readers that this is still definitely weakened Superman and getting weaker as we go. It was a pretty cool issue. OMAC, unfortunately, no, that was Light Ray at the end that they fired up and turned into Death Ray, or Black Ray, one of the two. It was they have the ability to bring people back from the dead. Mongol does, but the person that does all this is down and out, orphan and mother. Is this weird creature that the origin that we got to that was just tragic and horrific as well. But so the people who are not so good at bringing people back, who said that Light Ray just doesn't have much of a spark left in her to bring her back, they managed to bring her back a horrified monster version of her, and that's how the book ended out. But it was another strong issue for me.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things that I'm really, I mean, I think we've talked about this before, but Philip Kennedy Johnson has really shown what the essence of Superman is, the character. But the other thing that I'm really enjoying is the art by Riccardo Federici.
Oh my God, yes.
It is just, I mean, he has not done a lot of interior work over. He's been mostly known for covers, but he's been doing this whole Warlord thing, Warworld thing. Sorry, I just saw Warlord say hello. So I'll say. And it's just been incredible. I am really looking forward to the special that they're doing at the end of this to bring him back. It's just, and I feel like they're getting closer. They're almost kind of, because you had the Grant Morrison Superman Authority issue a while back. I kind of feel like they're in a lot of ways getting closer and closer to where, no one really knew where that stood in some ways. But I think they're bringing the stories closer and closer where you can see where they fit together now.
Yeah, that was just him assembling the team more than anything. And I don't know if y'all read the backup story in this, but it's actually giving us context to the little Genesis piece that it apparently has like the energy that they'll need in it, the power source that they'll need. But back on Earth in Superman's lab, you have Steel working to crack that Genesis, that slice of whatever it is source. And we had Steele's daughter be able to radio to him from Warworld and explain the necessity for him to figure that out quick. So that's what they're doing back on Earth, Lois and Steele, and so they're working diligently from where they are. So they're going to be on the ready when all this comes to be. I have a feeling Mongol's coming to Earth.
Yeah,
I hope he does. I hope he does, and I hope Jonathan is the one that beats the hell out of him.
Man, wouldn't that be a nice generational moment there?
Yeah, Dad's down and out. Dad's weak right now. We don't know what's going on with him, but he told me that I got this, so I got this.
Yeah, I agree with everything else said. I mean, I've been saying for a long time, like Philip Kennedy Johnson refers to this as like an epic. It's written in a very epic style, and I feel like Federici's art just like completely highlights that in the way. It looks like it could be like scribed across a scroll, like it's so great. It feels like somebody's telling you this ancient tale of two like warriors from opposite sides of the galaxy, just like coming at odds, So I think that really works. I thought this issue kind of felt like not really hitting the brakes, but like kind of like finding some open space to let the whole story breathe and kind of catch up to everything. The whole thing with like little Rubik's Cube things, like that was awesome, just to see like this whole story, like this whole place is just like predicated on like the worst place you could imagine. It's like, the worst prison you could imagine being in. And yet here's Superman and, Clark Kent just like still taking the time to like talk to these kids, and like promise them a better future. Like he's still inspiring hope despite everything that's up against them in these moments, and then to go in there with the orphan and like go through all of that and everything, that was a great contrast to that moment, where you still see him inspiring hope both like in the calm but also in the chaos, and that was really good. And then I just love like Midnighter being there and being like, "Yo, Blue, I need help." Like,
he's still sitting on D, waiting on O. He's ready to go.
Yeah,
they didn't touch on it this issue, but you feel the tension. Like he's still waiting on the okay to go get Apollo.
Yeah,
like they're lucky he hasn't gone and done it yet, because he's more than capable of doing it too.
he created an entire uprising. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy does not usually wait for an okay, but for whatever reason, he understands like what the situation is, you know. So
Mhm.
it was a good
that was
issue.
probably the best touch with him, just on a warpath to Apollo. He started the uprising that people mistaken for Superman.
He inspired
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah. You know, the one of the things I was thinking of was it's obviously too bad that George Perez isn't still around, but this would have been a perfect opportunity for him to update his Action Comics annual #2 cover. Do you guys remember that by any chance?
Action Comics, which one?
Action Comics annual #2, his cover to that. It would have been a perfect opportunity for him to
Is that
update it
the
and homage
the
himself.
Monkey Flower?
No, you'll see, so are you googling it?
I think it's the Neil Adams one.
Yep.
I have to look it up. Is it the one that you shared today? No,
No.
I think I see it. Oh my gosh, that's a throwback.
Is it this yellow cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a yellow border on the right hand, and
Yeah.
it would have been great for him
Left
to do an update of it and do an homage to to one of his own covers.
That's super fire.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Nice. Superman in Action Comics. Annual 1989. I was
Yeah.
probably not even quite a year old at this point.
Oh, you're so young.
But yeah, Philip Kennedy Johnson, like I said, you said it too, is he just has really boiled down the essence of what Superman is and what he means and everything. So
Yeah. There's always a better way.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, you put Mongo's head behind him instead.
Mm-hmm. That would have been a good opportunity to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So real quick, I want to burn through a couple real quick, because I know that y'all probably didn't read them. Do y'all read Seven Secrets?
No, sir.
Fire.
I have it, but I haven't read it. That's the last issue, right?
Yes, it is. Not spoiling it then. If dude, if there's no way to talk about this without spoiling the entire series.
Okay.
This series was fire. And I was wondering how they're going to end it, like if they're going to end it strong or not. Super strong. Super duper strong. Perfect ending. Nailed the landing. Cover says it all. Peace. Like, it was so good.
Nice.
But I'm excited to hear what you think of that one, Paul. I know that Digger Jim jumped on that one, and he's been loving it as well. But man, it was good. We get the answers to everything.
Good.
Everything, and it is done so smoothly, where everything ties to everything. It's all been there. All of it's since the very first issue. It's just been right here in our face.
Oh, nice.
Good job, Tom.
Well done.
Berserker #9. This was the most convoluted mess I've ever read in my life. Made 0 sense. Had nothing
It was
to
the
do
quickest
with
read I had of the entire week.
Yeah, just
Like,
a little blue
boom,
light
boom, boom,
flying
boom,
around.
boom, boom, boom. Almost no dialogue.
What issue is that? Number 9?
#9, I think. Yeah.
That didn't take long.
Nope.
I know he read the last 2 books I have. Did you have anything else?
Do you guys read Robin?
No, I think we both stuck to that like 3 or 4 issues and dropped off.
Oh, really? Okay.
In fact, I'm pretty sure we
tell us
both
about
dropped
it.
it whenever Connor showed up. So
Yeah. Well, it was a lot between Talia and Batman actually in that again. So
in a Robin book.
Was it?
Oh well, I
Fallout
guess that is
Shadow
the.
War?
what's that?
Is it Fallout from the Shadow War right now?
Yeah. Yep. And
So
the
real
Lazarus.
quick,
Island.
Real quick, all right. I'm going to flash you some. I did read this from last week, Punisher War Journal Blitz. It was pretty cool. Just random backstory of him as a leader of the Hand. So it's just random mission stuff. Just kind of adding.
I was wondering if that was part of that run that's going on right now.
It is. It's just because in that current run, he's already the leader of the Hand. This is just giving us, since he became the leader to the run, just some of the stuff that they did along the way, shutting down some other people. Aquaman #5. So this felt like it could have been the last issue, but I don't think it is the last issue. To be honest with you, this one didn't. Yeah, I was about to say this felt like all we have left is like an epilogue. Is that what comes at the end?
It's actually going to tie into Dark Crisis.
Yes. And see, I'm feeling like a lot of books are Swamp Thing, like bringing in Hal. Dude, did you read that very last panel, Paul? Next issue, and Aquaman will die.
Mm-hmm.
So this issue, I feel like this one is the first one I've seen that felt affected by the behind the curtain decision. So this was built up with the Black Manta miniseries, with Aquaman the Becoming miniseries, and then after issue 2, they announced that they're going to cut this run short and they're going to be doing something else. You felt it in this issue because I pay attention to how panels move, how my eyes move through the story. And when I hit a speed bump or something, there was a lot of speed bumps in this. Like the turns, the literal page turns weren't exactly smooth. You'd be on one character and you turn the page and Jackson's flying through the air, throwing the trident in the midst of doing something with Mira when they were just in two separate locations. You could feel it was rushed, but it was all there. There's an awesome battle with Scavenger and Black Manta where they're portal hopping and everything, and Arthur just has, I'm done. You're done is a better way to put it. You're done, Scavenger. Like it was pretty cool. But Jackson did his thing, man. He showed out. He showed you why, like, he is a hero. Like he legit deserves the title that Arthur and the responsibility that Arthur has put on him. Like, this dude's awesome. Definitely enjoy my Jackson. But I'm excited to see where they go from here.
That issue had a variant cover that looked exactly like Chris Hemsworth.
It did. It really did. I think Nick picked up 3 of those. He's specking on it. We got Coco of Chevy up in the building. What is going on, brother? For those that don't know, my man right here just sent in a 25-book pre-screen to CGC by way of Justin's Comics, the channel sponsor, and he hit 24 out of 25, 9.8s, and he's been posting straight fire on IG for ridiculous prices. Like, he's pretty much giving these books away. It's some awesome stuff. Be sure to check out his Instagram by the same name as you see here. You will not be disappointed.
Nice.
Next up, Department of Truth continues to be consistently good. I don't think there's anybody else reading this anymore but me and Ryan, who just got caught up.
Well, I'm not caught up. I think the last one I read was like 12 or so, pretty much the end of the Bigfoot arc. And then I was like, I really want to get back into the series, but I can't convince myself I'm missing enough, even though I was loving it when I was reading it. So I was like, let me read 19 and see if it's good enough to just make me want to go back and read it. And now I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
I'm reading it, but I haven't read that issue yet. It's still in my pile.
Well, it was really good. It's a lot of Cole questioning if he's doing the right thing. His relationship gets a tear in it. And we also get Hawk making a play for things. Find out that Hawk is running with the Black Cats, and they're pretty much about to try to out Cole to his significant other, to his husband. I think they're married, aren't they? To his husband?
Yeah, they're married.
Yeah, they're about the Black Cats are coming for Cole via his husband.
Well, it's about to go from Cole questioning himself to other people questioning Cole. And that's going to get interesting because he still hasn't resolved how he feels about his job. So now there's going to, the things he's done, right? He's still questioning all of his own ethics and morals and where those lines are. And now it's going to be that power is going to be taken away from him. Now somebody else is going to have questions. So it's about to be really good.
Yeah, that was pretty much the gist of this one. Like him. And why he was questioning them is he's looking back on not just his time with them, but now that he has all this knowledge of their hand in other events and not just his life, but the world over. how they fueled the satanic scare in the 80s and everything, and how that directly affected him so closely. It's my husband. Sir Justin is the best. And for those that weren't here in the beginning, Justin's Comics over on Instagram. Be sure to use that promo code We Are Legion and take advantage of the special offer that he's got running right meow.
Right meow.
Right meow. All right. Now, Ryan, I did do what I said I was going to do. I did read We Only Find Them When They're Dead, issue number 11, which is the first issue of the final arc of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you promised, I was not let down at all.
Yeah.
It was like sitting there with David 8 from Prometheus, just having a long dialogue where he's smarter than you, but you can't get him on the topic you want him to talk.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Nailed it. There you go. Boom. I was like, oh, this is so good. Like,
what
I love how they open it. I love whenever they come into the ship and stuff, and how he's just like, yeah, I have these memories, but they're not really what you're expecting me to remember, and I don't really know what they mean. And you do, but you don't know why this is the part I'm remembering.
Yeah, there's like, that disconnect. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's like so many like points where they're just like barely missing, you know.
So again, we have Malik, a different version of Malik. We had him as the captain seeking gods in that first arc, where he becomes a god just to be dead. In that second arc, we follow his corpse as a god, and now we found out that they have taken a piece of that corpse and they have cloned it. Instead of trying to mine pieces of these gods, they're trying to recreate them in some form or fashion to try to get what they can or what they're seeking out of that. And this is the final version of the clone that they're ever going to get. They have bankrupted themselves, and they're going off the books, off the script with this last one, and they're trying actual like direct communication, and they're just trying to really tap into his memories and draw stuff out, because they want the essence, this X factor, the MacGuffin of whatever these gods hold that they feel that they can benefit from. And he is potentially the key. So they have rebuilt Malik's ship. They're trying to recreate as best they can the environment that Malik lived in his final days, and put this clone in there to try to recreate as much as they can to get him to remember more, so that they can start using that. And very, very interesting. Very, very interesting.
They want to recreate the phenomenon. Mm-hmm. He's the only human that ever became a god, so now they want to figure out how to make humans into gods. Yeah. Like,
wow. What a turn.
Yeah. You know, what's amazing about this series is like you were saying, right? It's like very classic sci-fi. We're just going to throw you into this world you're going to drown or you're going to learn to swim, And, but what Al Ewing has done is like distilled it to like the most important, like, most potent moments in this whole timeline. And so there's so much stuff that could still be filled out along the way and in between and here and there. There's so many other stories that could come out of all of this, but he's found like the most important moments, which I think is ambitious and like crazy as this is. Yeah. Like, I think he did what he needed to in order to get the story told that he wants to tell. And if it catches fire, like there's no way they don't greenlight more of it. If it doesn't, he got to tell what was important to him. So, from like a kind of like public relations and like storyteller standpoint, like he really like played the game well here and got to do what he wanted to do and left room for much more if the opportunity presents itself. But yes, I love the fact that like Richter's still there and is like still haunting this reincarnated cloned version of him. Like, oh, that was a great
play. Hole in her head too. From the space debris. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like what was that movie? What Lies Beneath, right? Don't he always like see flashbacks of his dead wife? I thought it was Schwarzenegger.
Definitely wasn't Schwarzenegger.
True Lies? Is that the
True
one?
Lies is Schwarzenegger. That was a James Cameron movie. What Lies Beneath is the one with the girl in the tub and everything.
Okay, yeah, I think that's the movie I'm thinking of. But yeah, don't he always like see his dead wife in that one?
Yeah.
She's all like drowned, like asphyxiated or whatever. Anyway, Harrison Ford, there you go.
Looks
but yeah,
just
like yeah, like it's nice to like see her come back and like she's there like haunting this person that doesn't even understand what she means or why she's there,
Well,
So I dropped
cool
that
stuff.
actually with like issue number 6 or 7. Are you saying I should go back and pick them up?
Oh yeah.
You
Well, I
finished
mean,
the
it
first
depends on
arc,
why you
right?
dropped it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That first arc was phenomenal. That second arc, like, you just turn every 2 issues. They just hit you with a
Yeah.
crazy turn. The second arc is a heist. It's
Okay.
a religious zealot field space heist. It's wild. But you get
Okay.
a crazy dynamic, and it really does set the tone with the dynamic that they set with some of the world building that they introduced, with like how the elite actually feast on corpses and pieces of the gods. You can see how they're still just trying to do anything and everything they can to achieve this god status. But
Well, and
it's good.
I thought the second one was really important to understanding the culture around like the gods and what Malik became and why like this would even be significant, like what's the point in them like, cloning a god and trying to become gods themselves without that middle arc, that really explains the entire like culture and society that was built around all of that once he had made that transition.
Because you're going to get all 3 points of it. You see like the religious angle, you see the corporate angle, and then you just see the people with money that just live they live that first class of the Titanic lifestyle. If you have the funds, that you can be part of this elite group that get to deal in gods, whether it be eating them
Yeah.
or whatever. Like the entirety of the everything that exists is focused around them in some shape, form, or fashion. But yeah, it's good stuff. I only have one book left, Paul. What do you have left?
Actually, I think that's it. It was not a real big week for me this week. I mean, some of the ones I got we've already touched on, like Detective Comics, Robin, all the Action Comics. So we already touched on those.
Ryan, how many you got left?
Probably the same one book. If I had to guess.
Been waiting all night and made the
Yes,
thumbnail.
sir.
The conclusion, the finale to Batman Catwoman by Tom King and Clay Mann, with, can't leave him out, Liam Sharp as the fill-in artist for 3 issues. And that speaks volumes to your series. Ryan, you pointed out when you have Liam Sharp as your substitute. So that was wild from start to finish. This was one of the very, very Tom King-y books that Tom King has done. It was extra Tom King, but man, the story was in the background and playing heavy the whole time. This whole thing in concept came from his time on the main Batman title and some of the things that he tried to explore while he was there, including Batman and Catwoman's wedding, that as a lot of people were mad that it didn't come to be, it just kind of got left in the dust and everything, but he returns to it in his own Tom King way under a Black Label imprint, and he 100% delivers, in my opinion, the wedding that everybody wanted to see. And it was dope. It was super dope. 3 kind of consistent timelines played through this entire series, and we got a turn in one of them, as you always can expect in a Tom King book, to catch a turn. And it was a great final issue. It was just it felt like a good farewell to the series, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and to be fair, one of the reasons why people were so upset before was because a lot of comic shops put a lot of money into putting out these issues for a wedding that never happened. So that's why.
Yeah,
well, it finally did.
I enjoyed it. Tom King on his Tom King Talks podcast, he he has like one of his like longtime editor friends is basically there kind of like prompting him and stuff. He's not very like talkative or forthcoming, so I think he needs somebody to facilitate that. But that particular person kind of asked the question that I was wondering. To me, this was a Catwoman book or a Catwoman series through and through. And so he was like, this definitely seems like a Catwoman book. And Tom King was like, oh no, I think this was a Batman book, or maybe even like a Batman Catwoman book. And I'm like, No, this definitely was like a Catwoman book with Batman involved, So it's kind of interesting to see how like Tom King, as the writer and creator of all this, sees it, And he talked about, he basically asked him like, now that it's all done, is this what you pictured? And he's like, well, probably like 90%. He said, I didn't imagine it was going to take this long, but otherwise, yeah, was basically my vision for the series. And so I thought that was just kind of weird. I'm like, seems like a Catwoman book to me. Like this was pretty much her story from her perspective. So it's kind of weird that he felt like it had a lot more Batman to it than I think it really did. But
there's a couple issues that didn't even have him in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was perfectly fine because we had Helena as Batman and like in the latest timeline. The book starts off with the death of the Joker for having killed Batman even.
Yeah.
But getting to it, like the wedding was pretty much the highlight focus of this, as well as the late timeline. You're getting to see Selena saying goodbye to her daughter without using those words, trying to give her a gift, explain to her that she's already broken into Gotham PD and took all the evidence they potentially could have against her for killing the Joker. And like, did you really think I was going to go to jail for killing the Joker? Get real. Like, I've been doing this my whole life. Her daughter is fit to be tied about the whole situation because wants her mom to see justice, like, you don't kill, I don't care that he killed my dad kind of thing, which is very like her father of her, which I thought was really cool. And we get the wedding. I thought the wedding was fantastic. They did not go big scale. They went low key. They even, it was like a little Vegas style wedding in one of those little chapels. They paid the money. It was kind of funny watching the lady not recognize Bruce Wayne even, And they got upsold on the Batpack wedding.
Yeah.
And the
guy dressed like Adam West.
Yes. That was a perfect touch. And
those like lanky arms and everything.
Yeah, as a Superman fan, Tom King's Up in the Sky was one of the best Superman stories I've read.
Mm-hmm.
He understands Superman on a Philip Kennedy Johnson level. So I thought that it was perfect the way that they brought Superman in. Like, so Bruce and Selena are about to get married, and you also have to have a witness. That's law. It's not included. It's $50 extra. If you want a witness, let me know now. And Bruce just goes, if y'all are going to be here for this, you need to come now. He just turns and looks into the air at nobody and says that. And the next panel, boom, Superman and Lois are in it. Let's do this. I'm like, yes. That was perfect because he's always listening. He's always listening. And he's always prioritizing. And he prioritizes his friend. Like that really speaks volumes to their relationship. Batman and Superman, for all their differences, that's his best friend. And it really showed in that moment. And Lois's excitement to see Selena's like, oh, you look fantastic. Like that was awesome. I thought that was a super cool touch.
Oh no, like the line before that when he's like, fine, but if he starts talking about hope, you're like, yes, here we go. And then he comes in and sure enough, what does he talk about? Hope.
Like he's supposed to.
Yep. Yeah, it was great. I thought like all the jokiness with the wedding officiator and all that was like awesome. A little goofy, but it was a great way to end it all on like a happy note. So overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. The like action scenes when they're like fighting Killer Croc and Batman's just like getting like pounded into the sewer water and everything, and he's just like coming up for air. Like, I think I love you.
Just sitting up there,
yeah,
just talking to him like it's nothing. So, what did you think of the turn? So, the turn in this was a lot more subtle than you get in a lot of Tom King stuff. And we basically get Selena after she leaves Gotham. She's killed the Joker. She's made her peace with her daughter. She's cleared all of the evidence. She's not going to jail, and she's done. She avenged her husband. She's moved on, and you just see her basically on a beach as an older lady, and she sits down, she's talking to someone, and she turns and looks, and it's Andrea. It's the Phantasm, who we thought was dead from the earlier issues. We like, didn't it, like, from what I remember, it showed like the Joker killed her, right?
Didn't he kill her in issue like 10?
That's what I'm saying. But
yeah.
Like,
2 issues ago, yeah.
She's there alive and was waiting on Selena. Like,
yeah. I don't know, because I mean they explain it away so easily. Like it didn't like blow my mind, but I was like, oh, that makes sense, you know. But yeah, basically Clayface like impersonated the Phantasm so that they would you know that
Jimmy's the
they would
cow.
think that she's dead.
Right, but if you go back to the movie Mask of the Phantasm, right? Andrea was someone that Bruce loved at one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So there kind of is like a bookend, right? You almost
Yeah.
kind of in the movie you get Andrea was his first love, Selena is his last love, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so we have them both really right there. What's
Yeah.
that other chick's name that Bruce like dated for a while? She has like some kind of really
Fifty.
So
weird.
Silver Saint Cloud.
Yes, Silver Saint
Uh,
Cloud. If she was there, that would have just been icing on the cake.
yeah. I thought it was good. Like it was a nice, like wholesome ending. You know, it could have been like a Tarantino kind of ending. It could have been so much less than that. But I thought like Tom King found a good way to like kind of he gave us some action with like the actual proposal scene in the sewer with Killer Croc, and we get like the goofy wedding and stuff to kind of end it all on a happy note. And then we get like all the drama with the daughter and Selena, you know, with Helena there. Like, oh yeah, it's just gonna be that diamond ring. Like, I don't want your diamond ring. She's like, you're crazy. I'm not giving you my diamond ring. Like,
Yeah, that was so on character. Like she
yeah,
ain't got to come off of a diamond. Are you crazy?
right. But I thought it was a nice touch that it was the first diamond that Batman caught her trying to steal.
He went
You
back
know,
and bought it
so
for her. Yeah, he went back and bought it for her.
yeah, like you know, like it's just Tom King like finding all these little like wholesome things, but like still making Selena like sincerely insincere about everything. You know, like it's so on point for her character, but he also like finds these like wholesome moments to kind of underline why Bruce would fall for somebody that's kind of outside of all of his like moral compass and all of his rules and stuff. Like, why would Bruce fall for this person? Well, I mean, look how wholesome all the moments between them are, even if she was never really sincere about anything with them in the first place.
But
Or
she
really,
was.
that's the only time she was
I
sincere.
was about to say, well, she was, and we got that in this issue when they were laying there together, and she could see that he was visually you know, he was having a rough day. She's like, "Come on," he goes, I didn't ask you. Come on." You know, she sees that he's in need, and she was there for him. You know,
Yeah.
and like early the first half of this series, we're really seeing how much he was compromising his character for, and he was compromising like he could be doing other things. You know, but we see what he gets in return. Like I was thinking that this series was going to be showing us why the wedding could never happen, why it should never happen, and by the end of it, we see how opposites can truly attract and kind of bring out the better in each other. You know, like she wasn't making him less, and he wasn't making her less. At times, they would question that about themselves, and you know, but in the end, it played out like you said, very wholesome, and it didn't break character for either one of them to do it.
No, because like Bruce Wayne, like he's not ostentatious like that. Like he would not have like some kind of like big gaudy wedding. That would not be in character for Bruce Wayne, you know. And so I think it's like very fitting that they went and did like this little like Vegas style wedding and kind of like put it under the radar, but like his basically like his best friend is there, you know.
Yeah, I love that moment. If you're going to be here,
And
come now.
the other thing I thought of too was I know like Tom said that you know, like 90% of what he wanted was actually in the thing, but it almost seems to me as though this had to come out of the main Batman with all the time jumping and everything. I don't think that necessarily would have worked in the in the Batman proper title. It
Yeah.
works much better, I think, as its own series.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, and the question was very specific in that, like, is this what you imagined for the series whenever you decided you were doing Batman Catwoman? So they never really address or give any like real regard to like what happened with his Batman run and all that. So I don't know what his actual intention was on Batman when all that happened, but basically once he knew that he was doing Batman Catwoman, was this what he envisioned for the series? And he said, other than the amount of time it took, like pretty much this is it. So
good.
Take from that whatever you will, you know.
Very awesome. Well, guys, y'all got anything else y'all want to hit on tonight? It's about to be hitting that 11 o'clock mark. I know we started a little bit late, but that doesn't mean we have to stay on any later. Tomorrow is the 4th of July, and that means I have to work. And,
I actually don't go back till Wednesday, so.
Nobody likes a bragger.
I have tomorrow off, so.
Most people do.
We have independence from work, and you don't.
I don't. But I appreciate you hopping on tonight, Paul. And again, everybody, be sure to check out Sector 2815. He's got a lot of cool stuff going on over there. And we do have the Dark Crisis deep dive that we're doing on a regular basis. If you did not hear the announcement at the front end of the video, we do have a special episode coming up. And all credit to Paul for pulling this off. We have the writer of The Flash himself, Jeremy Adams, who is helming the tie-ins for Flash for Dark Crisis, as well as Batman Flashpoint Beyond, which we have a sneaking suspicion is more important than they're letting on. So you don't want to miss out on that. And be sure to go back and check out the previous episodes. And spoiler, Paul and myself are working on a stellar, huge giveaway for the end of this video series. And if you go back, check out the videos, leave a comment on them. The more videos you check out and comment on, the better your odds are of winning this epic prize at the end of this. So you don't want to miss out on that. And if you're reading the books especially, please go hit those videos up and let's talk about them in the comment section. We're just a couple DC fanboys when it comes to these events like this, and there's just so much content to break down and talk about, and everybody who reads it catches something different, and I wanted to see and hear what y'all might have caught. So Ryan, what are you dropping for us tomorrow? It's Independence Day, but that doesn't mean that you're sleeping on your duties. What do you got?
Oh, sorry, yeah. So I'm going to drop. I've been working on a kind of like my version of the sequel to The Batman. So I'll be dropping kind of the like pre-credits section of that all written out and narrated, and we'll see how that plays. So
it's going to be on audio or just?
No, just straight text.
I'm going to wait for the
Hope
audio.
everybody can read. But yeah, it'll be out tomorrow.
I love when you did that. This is before Ryan did the website. I've been a Patreon member of Ryan since day one, and he did an Old Man Barry story when we read Future State, and they kind of did the concept of Barry not having powers, but having to science everything. He did an Old Man Barry story, which was fantastic. So I'm excited to read this fan fiction Batman sequel.
Yeah, which that'll probably see the light of day as well at some point. So,
free content for when you get tired one week. I got you.
Yeah, something like that. Yes, sir.
Recycle, reuse.
Yes, sir. I'm very planet conscious. Grew up on Captain Planet, so learned a few lessons.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all being on here. Be on the lookout tomorrow. I've got the CGC unboxing grade reveal of 2 key comics. One's a big one from Marvel, one's a big one from DC, and I also show off some other slabs in tomorrow's video. I'm excited for everyone to see that. Don't know what's going to happen on the channel after there. I'm still trying to get caught up with life, but that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you all for coming, and as always, I'm Mark, that's Ryan, and that's Paul, but we are Legion.
And you're welcome to come use one of the 8 easels we have set up for creating art here at the show for consideration for our art auctions on Saturday for our major auction at 8 p.m. at the Weston Ballroom. And the smaller auctions we'll have here on the convention floor on Sunday starting at noon.
That's a flash from the past.
So